look at Tobias's achievements either, did we? But yeah, I'm not sure what that means. 5-0 here, so it must be doing pretty well. But looking at the prizes there, oh, there's that Squawkabilly prize for Alex. So that if Alex off to a slow start, doesn't have that bailout option there, could be a bit unfortunate.
It's a little bit sad, of course. It only works turn one. It only works on your first turn. So if it's in the prizes, you are unfortunately never getting it out in a way that it's going to do very much of anything. Good news is for Alex that they've not prized any of their 4 double turbo energy. They've not prized their 1 of Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. They've not prized their 1 of Secret Box. They have prized 1 of their free Clorf, but there's 2 Clorf left in the deck. There's a bunch of Pokemon recovery. I think we're going to be fine. This new style of Clorf, it's a different kind of deck whereby, you know, you've got things like Blood Moon Ursaluna as an option. You've got 1 Hisuian Electrode as a little kind of extra, but most of the time here, you're looking for Clorf. Here we go. Clorf in the active against Raging Bolt. And of course, Freya, talk us through this Raging Bolt deck quickly.
Yeah, so Raging Bolt is the beats fast and hard deck. So you have that Raging Bolt there in the active. Of course, that Bellowing Thunder attack does 70 damage times the amount of basic energy you discard from your side of the field for the cost of 1 lightning and 1 fighting. So the idea being that you get your Roaring Moons out, you get your Raging Bolt out, and then with multiple of them, you can of course use the Professor Sada's Vitality supporter card that lets you attach a basic energy to 2 different ancient Pokemon that you have out, and then draw 3 cards, and then you top that up with that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX that lets you, with that Teal Dance ability, attach grass energy from your hand to it and draw a card. So that draws you more cards, gets more energy onto the field, and you slam with Bellowing Thunder.
You do indeed. And one thing Raging Bolt is not keen on is single prize decks that can 2-hit KO or sometimes better. Now we see Squawkabilly going down. That is, of course, not an option for Alex. It is, however, an option to Gust and KO. Clorf, if poisoned, does do 190 damage. That will leave Squawkabilly, I believe, in range of being KO'd by it. Even with the 30 resistance, it actually works out perfectly.
Exactly enough, indeed.
It does exactly 160. So if I'm Alex, I'm thinking, yep, yeah, I'll cut down that burden a little bit.
Yeah. Now, I got to be honest, Ross, I have a little bit of extra insight here. So I was speaking to our fellow co-caster, Amy Wasley, who is also playing this deck, and mentioned to me that Alex is doing very, very well. This list was built to prey on Raging Bolt. So Alex is going to be very, very happy to be facing Raging Bolt right now.
Oh, yeah, and it seems like a very strong matchup for it. The fact that you're giving away 1 prize at a time, the fact that you can take out things like that, like that Teal Mask Ogerpon, and it just, you know, obviously Pheasantipity, which is weak to fighting, is also a 2 prize option to gust up and get a KO on. So Alex should be trading 1 prize for 2 for a lot of the game, and then trying to jump ahead by taking out those 2 prizes late. And I'm sorry, Unhinged Scissors makes me so happy. Stuttgart Regionals, people are like, oh, you know, Clorf had a good weekend, but come on, it's not going to happen again. Yeah, it's happening again.
Yeah, so here we go. Tobias, with a pretty decent turn 1 after that Squawkabilly, was able to find a Teal Mask Ogerpon, does do a Teal Dance there, finds that Sliverwing. This is a 1 prize attacking option that we do see a lot of these Raging Bolt decks going for, has a good typing, of course, and it's just a way of making that price rate a bit nicer. We do see a Pokemon Catcher. This could be very important. Oh, but it is a Tails. That would have been very nice to bring up. Of course, the Brute Bonnet would have prevented Alex from being able to attack quite as easily, but it is a Tails, unfortunately.
Yeah, Tobias there, not a great start. Did not only got 2 energy on the board, didn't get a KO on the Clorf, which would have been great for starting that prize race. Alex here doesn't really need very much. You need an Ancient Boost Energy Capsule to put onto the Brute Bonnet to activate the ability that poisons both active Pokemon, and then you need yourself a double turbo on Clorf. Now, ideally here, you go for a Binding Mochi for a bit of extra damage, Radiant Hisuian Sneasler to increase the poison damage, but all you need, Ancient Booster Energy Capsule and a double turbo.
Yeah. Although, if you have the Binding Mochi, that's actually really important because that would get you then to the exact amount they need for a knockout, because it would be 190 plus the 10 from Poison plus the extra 40 from it. That's an exact knockout on a Raging Bolt.
That is an exact knockout on a Raging Bolt. So that's what we mean. And you're not always trading 1 for 2 here. You are sometimes trading 1 for 1, but you get 2 prizes. Your opponent only gets 1. That is a bit of a wombo combo, but it will absolutely work sometimes. And I like Alex here if you're just 2-hit killing Raging Bolt. Yeah, and then occasionally gusting a 2-prizer on the bench. If you can get everything and get a 1-hit KO on Raging Bolt,
Yeah, then you are very much good to go. Now, unfortunately for Alex, it looks like he was stuck with a little bit of a spot of bother, was forced to bench that Luminion V. That is a 2-prizer that Tobias can prey on, but of course, if you need to use it to get a supporter to attack with, then you gotta do what you gotta do. And with this, oh, hold on a second, can Tobias, or rather, can Alex put it all together? We have the Town Store.
Well, the Town Store's going to go and get the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. So right now, we are talking about 200 damage. 190 plus to 10 for poison. We will need the Binding Mochi onto the Clorf here. Although, no, but of course, no, you haven't got it yet.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah, the Radiant Sneasler, it does boost, of course, the damage between turns by 2, but that's not quite enough.
No, Radiant Hisuian Sneasler will put up to 220. Does actually mean Tobias has to get out the active or will be KO'd during Pokemon Checkup.
Oh, that's true, actually, yeah. So
I do feel quite confident that's something Tobias is going to do. But right now, we got 220 damage coming down. Turn 2 for this Clorf deck. And, yeah, Raging Bolt not happy.
Wait, no, it won't quite be enough because it'll be 190 going to 210 and then to 230, so it'll still be 10 short, actually.
Oh, I was thinking 20 plus.
Yeah, no, but it's good. The 1 turns into 2. So, yeah, so it's actually only 10 extra poison per turn. So, yeah, it won't be quite enough. So, if Tobias wants to attack with his Raging Bolt in the active, it is okay. But,
no, it is 2 extra. No, I was right. It is 2 extra.
Oh, it's 2 more. Oh,
yeah,
so you can put 3.
Yes.
Okay, so then, never mind me.
190 plus the 30 for poison is 220.
No, so I thought Radiant Sneasler was 2 instead of 1, not 2 more.
Oh, it's 2 more. And that's
okay.
Wonderful. Oh, no. You've got to retreat here.
Yeah, you have to. Like, oh, no.
I think Tobias might. Oh, we see the KO from Tobias. And you know what that means?
Between
poison
turns.
kicks in. Pokemon Checkup happens.
I think Tobias does he not realize?
I think the judge, look in the player cam, judge is now informing Tobias that will be a KO.
Yeah, because it's 3 extra. Yeah, it's 2 more between turns. So, yeah, then...
That should be a KO.
Yeah, 190, then another 30, and another 30.
220. This puts up to 250.
Why is... It's... Can that Raging Bolt go to the discard pile? Are we missing something?
There's 230 damage on it at the moment. It's got 10 HP remaining.
Because it's so... Okay, let's make sure we get it right here. So, Clorf is... Oh, wait, no. With the double turbo, Clorf does 170, right?
Oh, Clorf does 170 with a double turbo. I always forget the double turbo, Freya. Silly of me. Okay.
Yeah, so
now
this is
Tobias
correct.
has to get out the active
yes.
to avoid being KO'd. Apologies, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. That took me a little bit longer than it should have done. Yeah. Got too excited about Clorf.
I heard 190 for you, but then I thought... So when you said that, I thought you were factoring the double turbo.
I was not.
No. You're the Clorf expert, Ross. Come on, man.
I got too excited about Clorf, Freya, all right?
All right. Anyway, but enough about that. Let's get back to the game here. So this actually works out well for Tobias because although, yeah, sure, you will get KO'd between turns, it's something that Alex would be able to do the damage to take the knockout anyway. So it does mean that Alex can pass for a knockout, which is, I guess, could be kind of nice. But it also means that there isn't that worst-case scenario where you get KO'd by poison going into your opponent's turn. That's when you're really hurting.
Yeah, that's what you don't like. And also, the passing for KO here, I absolutely love because, of course, Clorf relies on that double turbo energy. And you only play 4 of them in the deck. So anytime you can not have to use another one, that is a huge advantage. So Professor's research comes down here, gets a new hand of 7 cards for Alex. And right now, in a very strong position, about to go up by a prize. So this is going to work rather nicely indeed.
So rescue board going onto the Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. I guess it's something that ideally you would like to keep. It's not really something that you want going down anytime soon. You want that extra poison damage to come in. So it looks like, a second Brute Bonnet going down. Maybe you just retreat into a Brute Bonnet and pass. That seems fine as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. There is also, there's a Spiritomb in the deck that you could use in this situation to just pop in the active. But I like using Brute Bonnet because it at least gives you some value.
Yes.
If it's sitting there on the board as well. So I like this. Retreat into Brute Bonnet. And then if Tobias KOs it, they get a prize, but they don't get too much.
Yeah.
So I like this.
If Alex wants to, he could announce the ability and then have it not do anything because the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule prevents poison or any special conditions on the Pokemon it's attached to, and the Raging Bolt is already poisoned.
Yeah, we do get the KO on the Raging Bolt there from poison. Pass for a KO always feels good. And if you're Tobias here, you're not in a great situation because you need to keep refreshing and you need to keep resetting and getting the energy down and discarding 2 every turn. And you're only taking 1 prize for doing so. You know, even Brute Bonnet here has got 120 HP, so you need to discard 2 energy to get the KO. It is frankly not ideal.
No, it really isn't. And this is exactly why these Raging Bolt decks do tend to play a single prize option of some kind. So Sliverwing is a great option here because it ties in nicely with the energy types that you play, and it's got good type coverage. So I guess that could come in now for Tobias if he wants to try and get a KO with something that won't give up 2 prizes in return. But it will be a matter of whether he decides to go for that or not. It does make use of the town store that Alex Northey put down, though, to search out that Bravery Charm. Yeah,
Bravery Charm could be quite big here for putting Pokemon really out of reach. And that kind of helps. Now, obviously, you can attack with your Teal Mask Ogerpon here. You can set up a Sliverwing, 2 fighting energy, 120. That would be enough to KO the Brute Bonnet here, which has 120 HP. But it looks like, for the moment, just setting up those 2 prize EX Pokemon and considering what to do with the Bravery Charm. Popping it onto the Pheasantipity here, which still won't save it from a Claw because of weakness.
Yeah. And the problem with trying to attack with Teal Mask Ogerpon is that you're unlike the Regidrago V-Star deck, you don't really play Energy Switch in here, so it's very hard to actually get it powered up and attacking. You'd have to do a manual attachment plus the Teal Dance with the energy already on there. And it looks like, unfortunately, it was actually a miss for Tobias. Would have really liked to get that 3rd Grass energy on, would have been able to get the knockout on the Brute Bonnet because, of course, it does have weakness to Grass, but not able to pull it off.
No, and that's the thing. Like, you're a prize down against a single prize deck, and then you go and miss a KO as well. Shall we say, less than ideal, Freya. So Alex here is just loving this game right now. This is pretty much a best-case scenario. You gave up a prize, but it was one, you know, it was early in the game, you didn't really mind. You've taken the first 2 prize KO, and then it's back to you with a 210 HP Pokemon in the active with Binding Mochi.
It's a knockout.
It is a knockout. Now it's 170 because of the double turbo. Nailed it.
Yep.
Binding Mochi adds 40, puts it up to 210. And then you've obviously got the poison coming in as well, which is an extra 30, which is honestly irrelevant at this point. It's going to go up to 240. That's going to help.
Yeah, that is. And that maths to getting to 240 is exactly how this deck plays so easily on Raging Bolt, because you can get the knockout on the huge 240 HP on a basic EX is massive. I think it's the biggest basic EX HP number we have right now, isn't it? I'm fairly sure.
In the game right now, probably.
Yeah, currently. There are previous, in the current standard format rotation at least. But
let's wait until a Wailord gets printed.
Yeah, but that'll be a stage 1.
Touché.
Yeah. But yeah, unlike previous EXs, which were basics, the current EXs, they're all actually their evolved forms. So yes, there's the Claw for KO there coming in. So back to Tobias now as he puts up another Raging Bolt. But again, it's like you were saying right at the beginning, Ross, it is so hard for Tobias to actually make progress here because, sure, there are 2 prizes that you can KO on the bench, but it means you need a Gusting card every single time. And Alex can very easily just clap back with the Claw and take the KO again anyway.
Yeah, well, you can't go after a 2 prize knockout here. Claw's hitting 240.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
So you literally cannot gust up a bench 2 prize Pokemon.
Then you just lose,
Yeah, because Alex has already got a Pokemon that can KO you right back. Yeah. Now, you could if you played, say, a Bravery Charm, but even then you lose to Gusting with the Claw, so you kind of have to take out the Claw because that's the threat. But then, even if you KO the Claw, you're still down by 2 prizes.
Yeah, so I guess then the option here for Tobias is just to, do... If he wants to go for a 2 prizer, you need the Bravery Charm, because then you can sort of almost take that risk, and it does force Alex to have a boss's orders or something like that. But failing that, yeah, you have to KO the Claw. And this is where single prize decks shine at their greatest, when they can use 2 prize support Pokemon, because their single prizes are so threatening that your opponent can't really go for them because they have to knock out your attacking threat to not lose.
Yeah, it's always fun when you're like, go on, KO my 2 prize Pokemon on the bench. Genuinely, I would much rather you did that. Yep. That would be great for me on a personal level. So we have got a Professor Sada coming out here from the Pokegear. That's going to give Tobias enough energy with which to mount an attack, which is obviously your kind of, that's where you want to start with. But my issue here is you KO the Claw, and then you're basically saying to Alex, please don't get another Claw. And also, you've got a couple of turns to pull it off because I still need 2 prize KOs after I take down this Claw. So it'll give Alex 1 turn at least to try and reset. And that's what you're hoping for here.
Yeah.
KO the Claw, Alex whiffs, and then you get a 2 prize KO next turn to actually well, and then Alex whiffs again, and then you get another 2-prize KO. It's a lot to ask for Freya.
Yeah, it really, really is. And, I mean, so Sliverwing can actually KO a Cloth. The second attack there, Burning Turbo, yeah, it does 120 damage. You don't need any modifiers or any other shenanigans to get the KO on it, with Cloth having 120 HP. There's a Pokemon catcher, though. There's a Heads. Okay.
We're going for the Pheasant Dipty here, so going after that 2-prizer. Are we going to get a...
I mean, there is a Bravery Charm in hand. We know that much. You just search off the town store. So, yeah, you have to attach it, right?
You have... Well, not if you attack with a Sliverwing.
No, that's true, yes.
If Sliverwing attacks here, you will get a KO on the Pheasant Dipty.
Oh, because the fighting weakness, of course.
The fighting weakness. Yes. And then that will then leave you with a single prize Pokemon in the active, so Alex would need some kind of gusting to win the game the following turn.
Yeah, so this is definitely what Tobias is going to be going for. It's pretty much the ideal turn. You're trying to deny Alex as many outs as possible to taking these last 2 prizes. So, yeah.
Here we go with the energy.
Yeah, energy from the Night Stretcher gets attached to the Sliverwing, so now you can retreat, or just switch carts, so you can preserve the energy, even better.
Switch cart works nicely in a deck which is greedy for energy, and this is what you're going for here. You still need 2 turns. Alex has 2 turns to take the final KO. You are not winning next turn. Now, we do see the Bravery Charm onto Sliverwing, which, honestly, I don't think it really matters, because it puts it up to 170, which is what Claw fits naturally.
Yeah, it's a good point. And also, of course, with that burning...
Oh, no, what puts up to 190, but still the poison would get you over, so...
Yeah, and also, because with that burning turbulence attack, you do 90 damage to yourself as well.
Oh, there's the boss's orders.
Oh, no, mine!
The Pheasant Dipty. Cloth was not KO'd, and I told you, Freya, you had to go after the Cloth. You didn't go after the Cloth, so Cloth now will KO the Pheasant Dipty. Alex wins game 1, and we're headed to game 2.
Yes, so fearsome demonstration there of the power of Cloth, and exactly why Alex made this call to play it during this tournament, knowing that Raging Bolt would be very...
Hisuian Sneasel, I do not like seeing in the prizes. That really helps fix the maths quite nicely. There is a Hisuian Heavy Ball in Alex's list.
Very good, and that wasn't prize we saw, right? So, yeah, so we will be able to fish that out, and that will be very, very important to do. Now, it looks like Tobias will be going first here. Bit of an interesting choice. You would have think maybe you'd like to go second, stop Alex from playing a supporter, maybe get an attack going turn 1?
You would, but I think there's an element here of just kind of trying to set up and really hoping that Alex doesn't have a great turn 2. You know, getting some more Pokemon out, maybe getting that Sliverwing into play that little bit earlier. Just essentially giving yourself a few more options throughout the game. But you're right, Alex, you know, people keep saying Raging Bolt is the one deck in the format that really wants to go second. Well, you can add Cloth to that list. I love going second with Cloth.
Yeah, I'm sure there's something that we're probably missing in terms of why Tobias thought going first would be best here, but either way, this is what he decided to do. We do see there there's Trekking Shoes right after that Teal Dance. It looks like it's going to be discarding the Earthen Vessel, drawing an extra card, finds just a Fighting Energy, and I guess that can go onto the active. Alex has the potential to do a turn 2 KO here. As you were just talking about in the last replay, he does need a lot, but it's not impossible.
With Radiant Hisuian Sneeze the prize, though.
Well, I mean, if you get Heavy Ball.
Okay, fine.
It's a lot to ask for, yeah.
It is. I think I would gesture maybe too much to ask for, but you never know. You know, it'd be fun. Yeah. Nice cheeky turn. But like, I don't think Alex even needs a KO.
No, not really, because there's no 2 prizes out for Alex's side, so you're happy just doing the first of the 2-hit KO with the Cloth. Yeah, just do 170. You're feeling pretty good about things.
The biggest issue with Cloth, if you're 2-hit KOing, is the double turbo.
Yes.
You don't want to be losing too many double turbo, but that's why Alex plays the Hisuian Electrode V, 0 energy 100, plus any poison. And then the Blood Moon Ursaluna, which, you know, when your opponent's taken enough prizes, essentially turns into a 0 energy 240 plus poison, and this is a deck where you can manipulate down to your opponent taking 5 prizes, and you finish the game with that Blood Moon Ursaluna. So you can see, which is gone now, but there's plenty of Pokemon recovery.
Yeah.
But my point is, it's the energy which is the issue when you're 2-hit KOing. This early in the game, I'm not worried about it. I'm getting a hit on it, and I'm feeling good about it.
Yeah. Now, it looks like, I was mentioning how there's no 2 prizes on the board. It looks like Alex will need to put one down. Gonna think about going for that Squawkabilly EX course with that Squawk and Seize ability. Lets you, on your first turn of the game, discard your hand and draw 6 cards. A really crucial supporting setup Pokemon to help you bail yourself out of a bad early hand.
And these Raging Bolt decks don't tend to play much gusting. Prime Catcher and 1 Boss's Orders is what we see from Tobias's list here. So it's not like you're thinking, oh, they're definite. It's not like those decks that play Prime Catcher and 4 Bosses Orders and a couple of Luminion and they're going to have it if they want it. It is not always coming down. Double Claw, Freya, double Claw.
Double Claw, my goodness. Claw all the way.
I love me some Claw. Double Claw, Squawkabilly, Brute Bonnet.
There are 3 Pokemon catchers in Tobias' list. That's the other Gust thing that Raging Bolt does tend to rely on. Okay, but fine. Again, no, but it is still a relevant point because ultimately it means that you're relying more on a coin flip, right? Yes. And so there is still, and you have to do it that way because Professor Starter's Vitality is too important, so you can't afford to do Boss's Orders. That's why you end up going for this route, but it means that, yeah, you're reliant on the flips.
And that's the thing, like we saw in the last game, if you do that, then you are ignoring the Cloth, and I'm totally okay with that most of the time. Set up that combo, and then once the combo's set up, you are hitting very, very nice damage, taking 2 prizes a turn, except if your opponent's going after your bench, they're trying to find Gusting and everything else, and you're trying to find nothing.
Yeah, so here we go with the, after the Squawk and Seize. We found a good chunk of stuff. Looks like Nestball was one of them. Actually going to go ahead and bench that Pecharunt, the promo Pecharunt, where when it's in the active, it increases the amount of poison counters between turns if the opponent's Pokemon is poisoned by 4, I believe?
Actually 5.
By 5, my goodness.
And if we have a Suian Sneasel on the bench as well, that's 7. That's 8 damage counters between turns for poison. No Perilous Jungle in this list. But it means that rather than pass for a KO, you know, just normally, you're passing for a KO while accelerating the poison. So if anything's kind of 80 damage away from being KO'd, you can actually pull it off by just leaving that Pecharunt in the active, letting the poison do its thing, not using any energy to take that KO, and really accelerating. It's a great card that will come in and once or twice, you know, few times a day, not much, but it will be relevant sometimes.
Now, Alex played there the Chorus' Tenacity, and I think got a bit mixed up with Arvin there. Tried to get a Special Energy and a Tool card with Binding Mochi. You know, of course, Chorus' Tenacity gets a Stadium card and Special Energy. Does get Double Turbo, but had the Jet Energy in hand, so he can use that to bring up that Pecharunt and bring in that Poison effect.
Yeah, loves it. It's also great. It seems to have missed the Double Turbo Energy there for the Cloth, so just get some poison rolling. It is worth noting we did see in the previous game Chorus for Town Store for Tool, so Alex was probably kind of thinking of that and jumping a little bit ahead.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he didn't miss the Double Turbo because he got it off the Chorus' Tenacity, but he had no way to switch into the Cloth at the same time, so had to make it, because there was no switching card, so had to use the Jet Energy instead. And, I mean, yeah, like, you're very content with just doing some softening up damage with this poison effect from the Pecharunt's ability, because now you have a much easier time doing the second attack with the Cloth to finish it up and KO it.
Yeah, but it kind of feels like it would be a lot more fun if Radiant Suian Sneasler wasn't prized and you were doing 8 damage counters between turns rather than 6, or during Pokemon Checkup, as is the recent parlance.
Yes.
So we do see Radiant Greninja coming down here. That's going to give some extra draw options for Tobias, because actually hasn't taken a KO yet, would probably like to.
Yeah, I think so. And in this instance, because there's two Cloth out, I don't mind going for the Squawkabilly in this instance, because there's 2 Cloth out, so carrying 1 doesn't really do much. Neither of them have anything. So now is a good opportune moment to go for the Squawkabilly KO and take the 2 prizes whilst you're not doing that instead of dealing with a threat.
Yeah, agreed. We see the second energy coming down onto the Raging Bolt in the active, and it looks like just a little poker gear. Try and find a supporter card. Keep that setup rolling quite nicely, but it's still in that situation where, like, you can KO the Pecharunt, but then Cloth's going to come in and KO your next turn, and you've gone to all this effort to take 1 prize while giving up 2, and it's exactly what Cloth's looking for. You're playing into Cloth's hands here, or claws, I should say, but is it... My big question here, if you're Tobias, is there even a better option? Your deck is not built to go toe-to-toe with single prize decks.
Well, I mean, no, right? I mean, that's why you play the Slitherwing, to try and have like a little bit of an option against it. But yeah, your deck just isn't built to do that. So it is one of those instances where I think you accept that the matchup's a bit rough. Maybe sometimes you win it by playing your heart out, but it won't always work out that way. There's the Prime Catcher. We did see that in Tobias' hand, so going to bring up that Squawkabilly EX, like we were just talking about. If there's any turn to get the KO on it, it is this turn here. And of course, the way it works with when you switch out to the bench, the poison is healed, so even if Alex brings up the Pecharunt into the active now, it's not gonna, that extra poison effect isn't going to matter.
Yeah, we're just going to put a Cloth in the active. You said yourself there is a Double Turbo in hand, so you don't really need anything here. Cloth will be hitting 170, plus the poison is 180, plus the 6 damage counters on means the maths works perfectly here. Yep. Raging Bolt will go down with nothing else done. That is a KO on the board. And now for Alex, it's all right, let's worry about next turn.
Yeah, so, and to that exact point, going to make use of that Artisan to get another non-rule box Pokemon down onto the bench. Artisan, a very useful setup card for these single prize decks and evolving decks for that exact reason. And just had the double turbo in hand. No access to Radiant Hisuian Sneasler yet. Has not been able to find that Hisuian Heavy Ball. We do see that there's also a Nest Ball in hand, as well as a Luminion V and a Pheasantipity EX. So got to be thinking that maybe that Pheasantipity is the other two prizes that's worth benching just to draw more cards, given that you just got knocked out.
Potentially there. And it's an awkward one, because you're right. I love benching it. I love getting more cards. You don't need it this turn, though. You don't need any extra cards this turn. And I don't want to give my opponent any easier way, especially as I'm evening up the prize trade here. I think Pheasantipity is one of those. I can worry about it later. You know your opponent's probably playing one Ino, but probably only one, and you look at their board with no energy on and you go, they have to play Professor Sada next turn.
Yes.
I know I'm not getting Ionode next turn. I've got Pheasantipity in hand. I don't need the cards right now. Keep Pheasantipity in hand. Don't give up the easy KO.
Yeah, just put it down when you need it. You don't need the extra cards right now, so just take the KO. Yeah, exactly like you said. You're feeling pretty good about your position here, so there's the Cloth knockout with that unhinged scissors. That's such a good attack name.
Great attack name.
Yeah, gets the KO on the Raging Bolt EX. Up comes the Teal Mask Ogopon EX, and over to Tobias as he starts off with a Trekking Shoes, discarding a Grass Energy, drawing something else. It's Lightning. So good to power up a Raging Bolt, but it's kind of hard to do that when there's no Raging Bolt on your side of the field.
A lot of work to be done here. If you want a KO, you're kind of going to need to go Raging Bolt, plus an energy, plus Professor Sada, and some kind of pivot option, because although Teal Mask Ogopon can be a decent attacker, it needs 3 energy minimum, so you attack for turn, use the ability. Oh, that's not actually enough energy. You need 1 energy on when the turn begins, in this deck at least, to really consider it a viable attacking option.
Once again, very heads up from Tobias here, making use of Alex's Stadium to get Bravery Charm out of the deck. It's very important when you're playing against any opponent to, with their Stadium card especially, pay attention to what it does and see if you can make use of it as well, because it's there, you might as well make the most out of it, and that's going to thin the deck by 1 and make Tobias more likely to draw into something that he actually needs.
Yeah, love that play. There's the energy. Teal Dance draws a card, which is a Teal Mask Ogopon. And then that's going to get an energy, which draws a card, which is a Teal Mask. No, it's
yeah, bit late to make use of that, unfortunately. So, but we do have a concealed card from the Radiant Greninja, so can discard that Lightning Energy, draw 2 more. Hesitantly, it seems. Let's see, what does he find? A switch card. And there's a Professor Sada, but there's nothing to attach to.
Yeah, is there any way in hand of getting that Raging Bolt? We've got an Iron Bundle, which can be used to switch Alex's active. Oh, there is actually that one of Ino is actually in hand here.
Oh, okay.
That might have to be the play. Of course, you do that and you're not getting Professor Sada, but this might be the only option here.
Yeah, Iron Bundle, yeah, and with the Iron Bundle's ability being used, of course, it makes sense that you would just bring up the Petron. It's the thing that you mind being active the least, especially because it has a Jet Energy on it, so you can already retreat it pretty easily, and yeah, gonna fire off the Iono.
Now, I know this means that what I said wouldn't happen actually has happened. You have had your Pheasantipity put to the bottom of your deck with Ino. It's not available for you right now. I'm cool with this.
Well, I mean, yeah, because Tobias is very unlikely, perhaps even impossible to take a KO anyway, so you wouldn't be able to use the Pheasantipity.
Nope. And it means that your opponent's had a very bad turn, and if your worst case scenario is you've got to try a bit harder to get Pheasantipity later, and your opponent's not taking a prize, and you're about to jump ahead in the prize race, and bearing in mind, the whole point of Cloth is that you've got a favorable prize trade. If you go ahead this early in the game, this is exactly what Cloth is looking for. And not a great turn from Tobias there. No Raging Bolt down, no attack.
Hold on a second. Alex just drew the secret box.
Oh, of course, we haven't talked about that much yet, Freya. We just acknowledged its existence. But that is, of course, the ace spec of choice in Cloth because it gets you everything.
Yes.
Or specifically, an item, a tool, a supporter, and a Stadium card. And then, of course, that gets you basically everything you need. Supporter can get you special energy. Your Stadium can get you a second tool. You often need 2 tools here. And it just gets you this card gets you everything.
It literally gets you one of every kind of trainer that exists in the Pokemon trading card game.
But it's even better than that because Colress gets you a, Colress gets you a Stadium, which gets you that second tool that you need. Or the Stadium gets you the second tool, and the Colress gets you the special energy. So you can literally use this to get your, your energy and your Binding Mochi, and your Ancient Booster Energy Capsule all at the same time. Love it.
Yeah, and not only that, but here we see that because Alex already has a Clorf ready to go attacking, because you can use the secret box and gonna grab the boss's orders, and we'll be able to take another 2-prize knockout.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Right now in the early game, it'll get you everything you need. You know, the item would be a Pokemon search card, obviously, to get the Pokemon you want. But at this point in the game, you're like, well, got Clorf, got Double Turbo, got Brute Bonnet, got the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule, got a way to get Petron out the active. Guess I'll have a boss's orders. And here we go.
Yeah, so interesting that Alex opted not to get an item off of the secret box in the end. Could have maybe grabbed that Hisuian Heavy Ball to grab the Sneasler, but maybe thought, you know what, I don't want to do that right now. But either way, Boss's Orders is there from the secret box. In comes the Brute Bonnet with the ability, both Actives Poisoned and Unhinged Scissors. Gets the KO on the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX.
Yeah, 210 plus the poison goes to 220. More than enough to go and get the KO. Didn't even need the poison damage in the end.
No.
And now Alex is just 2 prizes away here from sewing up this game. And Tobias is still in a bad position. It's not just a prize race that's going against him right now. It's everything. There's no Raging Bolt on the board. There's a single Grass Energy on the Teal Mask Ogerpon. So you still need, just to KO this Clorf, you need your Raging Bolt, Energy, or Sliverwing,
yeah.
Energy, and then your Professor Sada and a pivot option.
Yeah.
And Alex still has a reserve Clorf to get ready to go with Binding Mochi.
Yeah, you have to attack the Sliverwing here, but ultimately it stops you from losing the game, but doesn't really help you to win, because if you have... I guess you can get a Raging Bolt down now. There is the Professor Sada in hand, so you could try and get the Raging Bolt powered up. But even if you're coming in now with this Sliverwing getting the KO, sure, you take a prize, Alex takes a prize, and then just needs one more prize to win the game anyway. It is so hard to put this prize trade back in your favor, because every single attacker that Alex puts out will be 1 prize, and there are no 2 prizes on Alex's side of the board either.
Yeah, it's less than ideal. This is why I was saying a couple of turns ago, do not bench the Pheasant Dipty. It would be nice, but you do not need it. And right now, Alex showing. Now, obviously, next turn, Boss's Orders is a win for Alex. Pheasant Dipty, drawing an extra 3 cards would be nice. But Alex is in a decent position here. You've got a Clorf ready to go. You've got another Clorf. Honestly, Hisuian Heavy Ball would also give you the win here, because that would allow you to KO a Raging Bolt if that ends up in the active. Right now, not terribly important. Alex can just chill. If Sliverwings comes up, KO it, and then finish off the following turn. You also... If you can assume Tobias is only playing 1 INO, which is about what we see from Raging Bolt.
Yeah, I think it's a fair assumption.
It's already been played.
Yeah.
So you don't mind going down to 1 prize remaining, because you know INO's not coming down.
Yeah, your hand feels very safe from disruption. I think it's a very fair assumption that there will be little to no disruption if you're playing against Raging Bolt. And I think that's also one of the other reasons why Clorf can get away with what it can. Normally, the way these 2-prize decks try to make a comeback against these single-prize decks is by disrupting them, because they usually don't run as many draw spot options. But with Alex's situation here, like, he knows that's not going to be a worry. He can build up his hand, and even in a situation like this, he's not worried about a potential comeback.
And that is, yeah. It's a win for Clorf. It's not great for Raging Bolt. And this is one of the problems. If you're playing one of these decks that is the big deck in the format that is, you know, on everybody's radar, you can be countered. And it's not the easiest deck to counter, but Clorf is doing it quite nicely. Energy on the Teal Mask Ogerpon. Draw a card. It is a Pokemon catcher. You might as well play it. Not entirely sure what we're going for here, though. It is a Tails anyway. It's a moot point. I suppose maybe go after the Brute Bonnet, make it awkward for Alex to activate Clorf would probably be my choice.
Yeah, I think so, because it's not only that, but if you KO the Brute Bonnet, it heals the poison from the active Clorf. So it's kind of, you're kind of, there's a lot that Alex then needs to be able to pull off the unhinged scissors again, but was a Tails, unfortunately.
He's got Nest Ball in hand, so I think he's probably going to be able to reset it, but you're right, it's one of those, let's do whatever I can, let's give myself the best options here. You know, you're going, it's not an ideal scenario, but you take the KO with Sliverwing, you take that 90 damage, you go down to 3 prizes, and you say to Alex, don't have gusting.
Yes.
If there's any gusting here, Alex will win the game. Oh, no, he won't win the game, because there is
It's a Bravery Charm,
There is
yeah.
a Bravery Charm on that Teal Mask Ogerpon.
And with that Radiant Hisuian Sneasler prize, you can't get to the 240 to KO the Raging Bolt EX, so...
Cannot, so maybe just take a 2-prize turn. It'll be fine. Take 2 turns to win.
Yeah.
Is the Sneasler still prized?
I believe, so, unless he took it from the... Oh, no, he probably took it from the prizes at this point, because...
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, because it was in the middle, roughly, wasn't it? I think
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So Pheasant Dipty comes down here. Now this is the time you play Pheasant Dipty.
Yes.
Tobias needs 3 prizes to win, and they can only take 2 off of Pheasant Dipty. You need a few more pieces of the combo to try and win the game this turn. This is where Pheasant Dipty comes in beautifully. So here you draw 3 more cards with that Flip the Script ability. And...
It's a...
Card, Professor's Research.
An INO.
And an INO. So you've got the attack, you've got the KO on Sliverwing, you just don't really want it. Here comes Artisan.
Yeah, and yes, to confirm, there's the Radiant Sneasler in hand, so yeah, we can see it. I think that this turn, I think all that's going to happen is that Alex is going to use Brute Bonus ability and pass, get the KO on the Sliverwing using the Petron's ability. That
is exactly what I would do if I cannot Gust and KO, and then you say to Tobias, even if you've got Gusting and you KO my Pheasant Dipty here, I'm still just going to win next turn anyway. Here comes that rather lovely Radiant Hisuian Sneasler. So the question here is, can Alex Gust and win this turn? No, it's an INO putting Tobias down to a 3-card hand. I love this. Yeah. I think Alex is putting himself in a great position. And honestly, next turn, you know what Alex needs to get a KO on either the Teal Mask Ogerpon or the Raging Bolt?
What?
Well, the Raging Bolt, Nout. The Teal Mask Ogerpon, you would need to get rid of that Bravery Charm.
Yes. Absolutely right. But then again, of course, I mean, actually, does Alex play any tool removal? I'm not sure. There is a Lost Vacuum in the list. So
that's what I'm talking about. You need that Lost Vacuum to KO the Teal Mask Ogerpon. I am liking Alex's position here. Confirmation that the only prize remaining is a single Binding Mochi. Here comes a Raging Bolt. This game is not over. Tobias will take a prize this turn, hopefully. And then it really is down to, can Alex get the KO next turn? Because if he can't, that's when the Gusting on the Pheasant Dipty comes in. Or maybe it's this turn. Oh, 2 in a row.
No, but I think at this point, you probably go to back to the Brute Bonnet, right? I think that's probably a more valuable target at this point because it just stops you from... Oh, and there's a free Tails on the Pokemon Catcher.
Only plays free. They are all Tails here, unfortunately.
That's rough.
Yep.
Because if you go after the Brute Bonnet, you can go after the Pheasant Dipty later, and then it's more for Alex to dig for to try and put together the Cloth attack.
It is. But you know your opponent's playing bunch of Pokemon Recovery. You know they're playing. It really depends on how many of the Ancient Booster Energy Capsule have been used. That's the bigger issue here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do know Alex plays Town Store. Now, do you know they only play 1? Because that has been and gone, I believe.
Yeah, it has.
So, you're right. It's maybe get that this turn, but then it really depends on how much Gusting you've got remaining, because you have to go after the Pheasant Dipty.
Yeah. Now, something very important here for Tobias, did find another Bravery Charm, so you can use this on the active Raging Bolt EX to make it a lot harder for Alex to KO it. Then he would need to find a Gusting card again to KO like the Radiant Greninja for an easy win instead.
Yeah, like this. Here we go with Professor Sada. Wait, was that? Yes, here we go.
Yeah,
so there's
Sada,
the energy on the active. So the KO isn't an issue here. Those catcher tails are absolutely heartbreaking.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I think out of literally everything on Alex's side of the field, the Petron is the thing you want to knock out the least. So the Pokemon catcher heads was very, very important there, but not able to flip the heads, unfortunately, for him. So it is just going to be Bellowing Thunder KOing this Petrunt. Just 1 energy will be enough given the Petrunt's current HP and the poison. Up comes the Cloth. Can Alex put together the win here? Can he get this last knockout to win the game and secure enough match points to advance to day 2?
Right now he doesn't have it, but here is a Flip the Script. I'm not seeing... There is an Ancient Booster Energy Capsule. There is an INO, it looks like. There is an Ultra Ball. Getting rid of that Hisuian Heavy Ball and the Spiritomb.
Well, wait, hold on. There's Luminion in deck still? Or wait, Hisuian Electrode?
He's going for a Hisuian Electrode here. It's unfortunately It's not going to win yet, but here comes an Arven. There is the Lost Vacuum, so that should mean you get rid of the Bravery Charm here, and that means that you will be able to do 240 damage. Stop me if my maths is wrong here, Freya.
Binding Mochi, he comes in with the Radiant Experience Caesar again. That is the game, and that is the match. Alex Northey advances to 6-0-0, and Clorf has enough match points to make it to day 2.
But we're not stopping here. We know how important it is to get the maximum number of match points in day 1 to try and give yourself the best chance of top 8.